My dear brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when speaking feels easy, but staying silent feels difficult. When emotions rise, when words are ready, when the heart wants to respond immediately, that is the moment when silence becomes powerful. Not every situation deserves your reaction. Not every comment deserves your reply. Sometimes a single moment of silence can save you from regret, protect your dignity, and preserve your peace. The strongest people are not those who always speak. The strongest people are those who know when not to speak. Today, we will reflect on 5 powerful lessons that show why silence is sometimes the best response and how choosing silence at the right time can protect your heart, your character, and your relationship with Allah. 1. Silence protects you from regret. My dear brothers and sisters, how many times have people spoken in anger and later wished they could take their words back? How many friendships have been damaged? How many families have experienced distance? And how many hearts have been hurt simply because words were spoken without thinking? Words may seem small when they leave the tongue, but their impact can be very heavy once they reach someone's heart. A single sentence spoken in anger can remain in someone's memory for years. Sometimes a person forgets the reason for the argument, but they never forget the painful words that were said. A moment of anger can destroy years of respect. A few seconds of careless speech can weaken relationships that took years to build. This is why wise people are very careful with their words. They understand that once words are spoken, they cannot be taken back. Even if a person apologizes, even if the relationship continues, the effect of those words may still remain deep inside the heart. Sometimes shaitan pushes a person to speak quickly because he knows the danger of uncontrolled speech. Shaitan understands that when a person becomes emotional, their judgment becomes weak. In anger, a person may exaggerate, accuse unfairly, or say things they do not truly mean. Later, when the emotions calm down, regret begins. A person wishes they had stayed silent. A person wishes they had paused. A person wishes they had controlled their tongue. Islam teaches us to pause before speaking. Islam teaches us to think before reacting. Islam teaches us that silence can be a form of wisdom. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ taught us something very powerful. Whoever believes in Allah and the last day should speak good or remain silent. This teaching shows that silence is not emptiness. Silence is a choice. Silence is discipline. Silence is a protection from unnecessary harm. When a person trains themselves to pause before speaking, they begin to notice how many words are actually unnecessary. Not every thought needs to be expressed. Not every emotion needs to be explained. Not every situation needs a reaction. Many problems in life begin from words that were never truly needed. A believer understands that controlling the tongue is part of controlling the soul. The tongue is small, yet its effect is powerful. It can build trust or it can break trust. It can bring hearts closer or it can push hearts away. The person who learns to control their tongue learns to control many areas of their life. Silence protects you from saying something that your heart will regret later. Silence gives your mind time to think clearly. Silence allows emotions to settle before decisions are made. Often, the words we regret most are the words we spoke too quickly. But the words we delay often become wiser and kinder. Sometimes silence saves your dignity because you refuse to lower yourself to arguments that have no benefit. Sometimes silence saves your relationships because you choose peace over proving a point. Sometimes silence saves your peace because you refuse to allow temporary emotions to create permanent damage. The wise believer does not speak just to respond. The wise believer speaks with purpose, and when there is no benefit in speaking, they find comfort in silence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is self-control. Silence is maturity. Silence is protection from regret that could have been avoided. A person who learns the value of silence learns one of the greatest skills in life, because many problems that could have grown larger were stopped simply because someone chose not to speak in a moment of anger. Sometimes the strongest words are the ones we choose not to say. 2. Silence is a sign of inner strength. My dear brothers and sisters, many people believe that Strength means always defending yourself, always responding quickly, always proving that you are right. People often think that if they remain silent, others will see them as weak. They think silence means losing the argument. They think silence means accepting defeat. But true strength is very different from what most people imagine. Real strength is not shown by how loudly a person speaks. Real strength is shown by how well a person controls themselves when emotions become strong. Real strength is when a person has the ability to respond but chooses not to respond. Real strength is when a person refuses to allow anger, ego, or pride to control their behavior. When someone criticizes you, insults you, misunderstands you, or treats you unfairly, the nafs immediately wants to react. The ego becomes uncomfortable. The heart feels pressure to defend itself. A person feels the need to prove their innocence, to correct every misunderstanding, and to show others that they are not wrong. But the believer understands something very important. Not every misunderstanding needs to be corrected immediately. Not every criticism deserves a response. Not every opinion has value. Sometimes people speak without knowledge. Sometimes people judge without understanding the full situation. Sometimes people form opinions based on assumptions. If you try to correct every misunderstanding and respond to every negative comment, you may spend your whole life explaining yourself to people who were never truly interested in understanding you. The heart that trusts Allah finds peace in knowing that Allah knows the truth. Even if people misunderstand you, Allah understands you. Even if people judge you, Allah knows your intention. Even if people speak unfairly about you, Allah sees what is hidden in your heart. A person who is confident in their relationship with Allah does not feel the need to defend themselves in every situation. They understand that their value does not come from people's approval. Their value comes from Allah. Inner strength means having emotional control. It means not allowing every word from others to disturb your peace. It means not reacting to every situation with anger. It means choosing dignity over drama. Many arguments continue only because both sides feel the need to win. Both sides feel the need to have the last word. Both sides feel the need to prove superiority. But the wise believer does not measure success by winning arguments. The wise believer measures success by protecting their character. When you choose silence in a moment where others expect you to react emotionally, you show strength. You show maturity, you show discipline. Silence is often more powerful than words because silence shows that you are not desperate to prove yourself. Silence shows that your confidence does not depend on convincing others. Silence shows that your self-worth is stable. Strong people do not feel threatened by opinions. Strong people do not feel pressured to explain themselves to everyone. Strong people are selective with their energy. Energy is valuable. Emotional energy is limited. If a person spends their energy responding to negativity, arguing with everyone and defending themselves constantly, they will feel exhausted. They will feel mentally tired. They will feel emotionally drained. But when a person learns to ignore unnecessary arguments, they protect their energy for what truly matters. They protect their energy for their goals. They protect their energy for their family. They protect their energy for their relationship with Allah. Inner strength allows a person to walk away from arguments that bring no benefit. Inner strength allows a person to remain calm when others try to provoke them. Inner strength allows a person to choose peace even when the ego demands reaction. Not every situation deserves your attention. Not every person deserves your explanation. Not every comment deserves your reply. Sometimes silence is not about avoiding the situation. Sometimes silence is about rising above the situation. When you refuse to respond to negativity, you show that your mind is focused on higher priorities. You show that your heart is not easily shaken by small issues. A strong believer understands that constantly reacting to everything is a sign of emotional weakness. But choosing silence when necessary is a sign of emotional stability. Silence teaches patience. Silence teaches discipline. Silence teaches humility. Silence also protects you from saying something that may later harm your character. A believer cares deeply about their character because character is valuable in the sight of Allah. A strong person is not someone who defeats others in arguments. A strong person is someone who defeats their own ego. Sometimes your silence will confuse people. They may expect you to argue. They may expect you to react. But when you remain calm and silent, you show that your peace is more important than proving a point. Not every victory needs to be visible. Sometimes the greatest victory is the victory over your own emotions. Inner strength is not loud. Inner strength is calm. Inner strength is patient. Inner strength is controlled. Silence can be a powerful sign that your heart is strong enough to remain stable even when situations are uncomfortable. And when a believer becomes strong inside, they no longer feel the need to prove their strength outside. Because true strength is not in always speaking. True strength is in knowing when silence is better. 3. Silence prevents unnecessary conflict. My dear brothers and sisters, many conflicts in life do not begin with big problems. They begin with small words, small misunderstandings, small reactions that slowly grow into bigger issues. A simple sentence spoken at the wrong moment can create tension. A careless comment can hurt someone's feelings. A quick reaction without thinking can turn a peaceful situation into an uncomfortable one. Very often, the problem is not as big as the reaction we give to it. Sometimes a person says something without intending harm, but the listener immediately reacts emotionally. One word leads to another word. One reaction leads to another reaction. Slowly, the conversation becomes heated, voices become louder, and hearts become harder. What started as a small issue becomes a serious disagreement. Many arguments continue not because the problem is large, but because both people feel the need to respond. Both sides want to defend themselves. Both sides want to prove they are correct. Both sides want the last word. When this happens, the conflict grows stronger and more complicated. But when one person chooses silence, the situation often becomes calmer. Silence removes fuel from the fire. Silence prevents the argument from growing. Silence allows emotions to settle. Sometimes the strongest way to end a conflict is not by speaking more, but by speaking less. When emotions are high, understanding becomes low. When a person feels angry, they may not listen carefully. They may misunderstand what is being said. They may assume negative intentions. This can create more confusion and more hurt. Silence creates space. Silence allows time for emotions to settle. Silence allows the mind to think clearly. Silence allows the heart to soften again. Many people say things they do not truly mean when they are upset. Later, when they calm down, they regret those words. They wish they had remained quiet. They wish they had waited before reacting. If a person learns to remain silent in emotional moments, many problems can be prevented before they even begin. A believer understands that protecting relationships is more important than winning arguments. Relationships are valuable. Trust is valuable. Respect is valuable. These things take time to build, but they can be damaged very quickly through harsh words. Sometimes people speak from stress. Sometimes people speak from pain. Sometimes people speak without thinking carefully. If every emotional word receives an emotional response, conflicts will continue to grow. But if one person chooses patience and silence, the situation often improves naturally. Silence does not always mean agreement. Silence does not always mean weakness. Silence can mean wisdom. Silence can mean that a person values peace more than unnecessary debate. Not every opinion needs to be challenged. Not every disagreement needs to become an argument. Not every mistake needs to be exposed immediately. Sometimes correcting someone publicly creates embarrassment instead of improvement. Sometimes responding harshly creates distance instead of understanding. The wise believer chooses the right time, the right words, and the right tone. And sometimes the right choice is silence. Silence can protect friendships. Silence can protect family relationships. Silence can protect hearts from unnecessary pain. There are moments when speaking more will only make the situation worse. There are moments when continuing the discussion will only increase frustration. In such moments, silence becomes a mercy. Silence gives both sides the opportunity to calm down. Silence allows reflection. Silence allows people to think about their words. Many conflicts disappear with time when they are not constantly fed with reactions. A A believer does not enjoy arguments. A believer does not seek to prove superiority over others. A believer seeks peace. Peace does not always come from convincing others that you are right. Peace often comes from choosing not to continue a harmful discussion. Sometimes people argue because they want attention. Sometimes people argue because they want control. Sometimes people argue because they are dealing with inner struggles. Responding to every argument can trap you in endless negativity, but silence can break this cycle. Silence protects your heart from absorbing unnecessary stress. Silence protects your mind from constant tension. Silence protects your time from being wasted in useless discussions. When a person develops the ability to remain silent in difficult moments, they reduce many problems in their life. Silence allows wisdom to guide your behavior instead of emotions. Silence gives you the opportunity to respond later with calmness instead of reacting immediately with anger. Many strong relationships remain strong because people choose patience instead of reacting to every small issue. Not every difference of opinion needs to become a disagreement. People can think differently and still respect each other. Silence shows emotional maturity. Silence shows self-control. Silence shows that you are focused on solutions, not on winning arguments. Sometimes the best way to avoid unnecessary conflict is to simply step back and allow the situation to calm down. When emotions decrease, understanding increases. When understanding increases, problems become easier to solve. But when emotions continue to rise, even simple problems become complicated. Silence can stop negative situations before they become serious. Silence can prevent words that cannot be taken back. Silence can prevent distance between hearts. A wise believer does not respond to everything immediately. A wise believer chooses their words carefully. And sometimes the best choice is to remain silent and allow peace to return. Because not every conflict needs your participation. Sometimes silence is the strongest step toward peace. 4. Silence brings you closer to Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, we live in a time where noise surrounds us constantly. Conversations, opinions, arguments, messages, and endless communication fill our days and nights. A person may spend hours talking, listening, scrolling, reacting, and responding, yet still feel an emptiness inside the heart. The heart becomes tired, but it does not feel peaceful. The mind becomes busy, but it does not feel satisfied. Sometimes the reason for this emptiness is that the heart has not been given enough silence to reconnect with Allah. When the tongue becomes quiet, the heart becomes more aware. When the noise around you decreases, the voice of reflection becomes stronger. Silence gives the heart space to think deeply. Silence allows a person to observe their own life. Silence allows a person to recognize their mistakes and appreciate their blessings. Too much talking can distract a person from remembering Allah. Too many unnecessary conversations can fill the mind with matters that bring no benefit. A person may speak a lot but not grow spiritually. A person may hear many words but not gain wisdom. But when a person begins to reduce unnecessary speech, they begin to notice a change inside themselves. Their thoughts become clearer, their emotions become calmer, their heart becomes softer. Silence creates an opportunity for dhikr, for remembrance of Allah. Silence creates time for reflection about the purpose of life. Silence creates space to think about where we are going and what truly matters. Many people complain that they feel distant from Allah. They say they want peace in their heart. They say they want clarity in their mind. They say they want strength in their faith. But sometimes the heart is too busy to listen. Sometimes the heart is too distracted to reflect. Sometimes the heart is surrounded by so much noise that it cannot recognize what it truly needs. Silence allows the heart to breathe. Silence allows the soul to slow down. Silence allows a person to become aware of their connection with Allah. There are moments when a person sits quietly and begins to think about their life. They begin to remember moments when Allah helped them. They begin to remember times when Allah protected them from harm. They begin to realize that many blessings in their life were given without them even asking. This reflection increases gratitude. Gratitude increases faith. Faith increases peace. Some of the most powerful moments of spiritual growth happen when a person is alone, away from noise, away from distraction, away from unnecessary conversation. In quiet moments, a person can speak to Allah sincerely. They can make dua without feeling rushed. They can ask Allah for guidance. They can ask Allah for forgiveness. They can express what is truly inside their heart. Often, people speak more to others than they speak to Allah. People share their worries with everyone but forget to share their worries with the one who can truly solve them. Silence reminds us that Allah is always near. Silence reminds us that Allah listens even when no one else understands. Silence reminds us that we do not always need people to understand our struggles, because Allah already understands. When a person reduces unnecessary speech, they often become more careful with the words they do choose. Their words become more meaningful. Their speech becomes more thoughtful. Their advice becomes more beneficial. A person who practices silence develops awareness. They begin to notice their intentions more clearly. They begin to notice their actions more carefully. They begin to notice the state of their heart. Silence also helps a person avoid many sins of the tongue. Backbiting, gossip, unnecessary criticism, and hurtful speech often occur when people speak without thinking carefully. By reducing unnecessary speech, a person protects their good deeds. Many people lose the reward of their good actions because of careless words. A person may pray, fast, and try to do good, but their tongue harms others. Silence helps protect a person from this danger. Silence does not mean a person stops speaking completely. Islam encourages good speech. Islam encourages kind speech. Islam encourages truthful speech. But Islam also encourages avoiding speech that has no benefit. The believer chooses quality of speech over quantity of speech. The believer speaks when there is benefit. The believer remains silent when speech may cause harm. Silence helps a person listen more carefully. When a person listens more, they learn more. When they learn more, they grow more. Silence creates humility. It reminds a person that they do not always need to be the one speaking. It reminds a person that wisdom can be found in listening. Many wise people throughout history were known for speaking little but saying meaningful words when they did speak. Their silence gave weight to their speech. Their silence increased the value of their words. Silence also gives a person the opportunity to reflect on the Quran more deeply. When the mind is not overwhelmed with constant noise, it becomes easier to think about the meaning of verses, the lessons within them, and how they apply to daily life. A quiet heart understands more. A quiet heart reflects more. A quiet heart remembers Allah more. Sometimes Allah removes certain distractions from a person's life so that they can return to Him. Sometimes Allah allows a person to feel tired of noise so that they begin to search for peace. And true peace is always found in closeness to Allah. When a person develops comfort with silence, they are no longer afraid of being alone. They begin to appreciate moments of reflection. They begin to enjoy peaceful time with their thoughts. They begin to understand that silence is not loneliness. Silence is connection. Silence is awareness. Silence is healing. Silence allows the heart to reset from the stress of life. Silence allows the mind to recover from constant stimulation. Silence allows a person to remember their purpose. The more a person remembers Allah, the more peaceful their heart becomes. The more peaceful their heart becomes, the easier it becomes to handle difficulties in life. Silence strengthens patience. Silence strengthens gratitude. Silence strengthens sincerity. A believer does not fill every moment with unnecessary words. A believer values moments of reflection. A believer protects time for remembrance of Allah, because the heart that remembers Allah often finds peace even in difficult situations. And the heart that is filled with constant noise often struggles to find calmness. Silence brings a person closer to Allah because silence removes distraction and increases awareness. Silence allows the heart to reconnect with what truly matters. Sometimes the greatest clarity in life comes not from speaking more, but from learning when to remain silent and remember Allah. 5. Silence protects your peace. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest blessings a person can experience in this life is inner peace. A peaceful heart allows a person to think clearly, act wisely, and live with balance. But many people lose their peace not because of major problems, but because they react to too many small things. They allow every comment, every opinion, and every criticism to enter their heart. Not every word spoken about you deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your response. People will always have something to say. No matter what you do, some people will support you, some people will misunderstand you, and some people will criticize you. If a person tries to respond to every negative voice, they will spend their life in constant tension. Silence protects your peace because it protects your energy. Your emotional energy is limited. If you give your attention to every disagreement, every negative comment, and every unnecessary discussion, you will feel exhausted, your mind will become tired, and your heart will feel heavy. Sometimes people speak without thinking carefully. Sometimes people speak based on assumptions. Sometimes people speak based on incomplete information. If you react to every careless word, you allow others to control your emotional state. But when you choose silence, you keep control of your heart. A peaceful person understands that not every situation deserves a reaction. Some situations deserve patience. Some situations deserve distance. Some situations deserve silence. Protecting your peace does not mean ignoring responsibilities. Protecting your peace means choosing where to invest your emotional energy wisely. Many people lose their peace because they want everyone to understand them. They want everyone to agree with them. They want everyone to appreciate them. But people think differently. People see situations differently. People judge based on their own experiences. If your peace depends on everyone understanding you, your peace will always feel unstable. But when your peace depends on your relationship with Allah, your peace becomes stronger. Silence helps you avoid many unnecessary worries. Silence helps you avoid many unnecessary arguments. Silence helps you avoid many unnecessary explanations. Sometimes explaining yourself repeatedly to people who are not willing to understand only increases frustration. The wise believer knows that not every person is meant to understand everything about your life. Some people will misunderstand your intentions. Some people will misinterpret your actions. Some people will create opinions without knowing the full story. You do not need to correct every misunderstanding immediately. Allah knows your intention, even when people do not. Allah knows your effort, even when people do not. Allah knows your sincerity, even when people doubt you. Silence protects your peace because silence reduces mental noise. When a person stops reacting to every situation, their mind becomes calmer, their thoughts become clearer, their emotions become more stable. Many problems become bigger simply because people keep discussing them repeatedly. Repeating the same negative conversations increases stress. But silence reduces the size of many problems. Silence allows time to pass. With time, many issues lose importance. What feels very serious today may not feel important after some time. A peaceful heart does not carry every small issue for a long time. A peaceful heart learns to let go of what does not truly matter. Silence helps a person develop emotional balance. When a person is always reacting quickly, their emotions control their behavior. But when a person practices silence, they learn patience. Patience brings stability. Stability brings clarity. Clarity brings peace. Some people enjoy creating arguments. Some people enjoy spreading negativity. Some people enjoy discussing the faults of others. If a person responds to every negative conversation, they may become part of that negativity. But when a person chooses silence, they distance themselves from unnecessary negativity. Silence creates a boundary between your peace and other people's opinions. Not every opinion deserves space in your heart. Some opinions are based on temporary emotions. Some opinions are based on incomplete understanding. Some opinions are based on personal bias. A wise believer listens carefully but does not absorb everything. Silence helps a person avoid regretful reactions. Many people regret not the situation itself, but the way they reacted to the situation. When a person reacts emotionally, they may say things they later wish they had not said. They may damage relationships unnecessarily. They may create distance where understanding was possible. Silence gives you time to respond with wisdom instead of reacting with emotion. Silence allows your heart to remain calm even when situations are difficult. Silence allows your mind to remain focused even when others create confusion. A peaceful heart is not easily disturbed by every small issue. A peaceful heart chooses which matters deserve attention and which matters do not. Silence reminds you that not everything deserves importance. Some comments are temporary. Some criticisms are unimportant. Some disagreements are not worth emotional stress. Silence helps you remain focused on your purpose. A person who constantly reacts to negativity may lose focus on their goals. They may lose focus on their responsibilities. They may lose focus on improving themselves. But when a person protects their peace, they have more energy to improve their life. They have more energy to focus on their relationship with Allah. They have more energy to treat others with kindness. They have more energy to work on their character. Peaceful people are not free from problems. Peaceful people simply do not allow every problem to control them. Silence helps you accept that not everything in life needs your reaction. Silence helps you accept that some situations are better left with Allah. Silence helps you accept that some matters will resolve with time. A believer trusts that Allah sees everything. A believer trusts that Allah knows the truth. A believer trusts that Allah is just. When a person trusts Allah, they feel less pressure to defend themselves constantly. They feel less pressure to correct every opinion. They feel less pressure to respond to every criticism. Trust in Allah brings calmness. Calmness protects peace. Silence also helps you avoid becoming emotionally attached to every situation. Emotional attachment to every small issue creates stress. But emotional balance creates stability. Silence helps you step back and see the bigger picture. Many things that seem important in the moment are not truly important in the long term. A wise believer asks themselves, will this matter after some time? Will this matter in the next year? Will this matter in the next life? If the answer is no, silence becomes easier. Sometimes silence is not ignoring the problem. Sometimes silence is choosing not to give unnecessary importance to the problem. Peace increases when a person reduces unnecessary reactions. Peace increases when a person avoids useless arguments. Peace increases when a person focuses on what truly matters. Silence protects your dignity because you do not lower yourself to every discussion. Silence protects your heart because you do not allow negativity to enter easily. Silence protects your mind because you reduce unnecessary stress. Silence protects your time because you avoid useless debates. Silence protects your faith because you avoid harmful speech. A peaceful life is not a life without challenges. A peaceful life is a life where the heart remains stable despite challenges. Silence helps the heart remain stable. Silence helps the mind remain balanced. Silence helps the soul remain calm. Sometimes silence is not weakness. Sometimes silence is wisdom. Sometimes silence is patience. Sometimes silence is trust in Allah. Sometimes silence is the strongest response. Because not every situation deserves your words, and not every reaction brings peace. But silence often protects the peace that words may destroy. My dear brothers and sisters, in a world where everyone is trying to be heard, the believer learns the beauty of restraint. Not every thought needs to be spoken. Not every feeling needs to be expressed. Not every situation needs a reaction. Sometimes silence protects you from regret. Sometimes silence protects your dignity. Sometimes silence protects your peace. And sometimes silence protects your relationship with Allah. The tongue is small, but its impact is great. A single sentence can build a heart, and a single sentence can break it. That is why wisdom is not only in knowing what to say, but also in knowing when to remain silent. Silence does not mean weakness. Silence means discipline. Silence means maturity. Silence means you value peace over proving a point. The one who learns to control their tongue learns to control many areas of life, because many problems begin with words and many regrets come from words spoken without thinking. Choose words that bring benefit. Choose silence when words bring harm. Choose patience when emotions try to control you. Remember, Allah knows what is in your heart even when you do not explain yourself to people. Allah understands your intentions even when others misunderstand you. Allah sees your patience even when no one else notices. A peaceful heart is a great blessing. Protect it from unnecessary arguments. Protect it from useless discussions. Protect it from words that do not bring goodness. Sometimes the best response is silence, because silence keeps the heart calm, the mind clear, and the soul connected to Allah. May Allah grant us wisdom in our speech and wisdom in our silence. May Allah protect our hearts from regret, our tongues from harm, and our lives from unnecessary conflict. If this reminder benefited you, share it with someone who may also need peace in their heart, because sometimes silence is truly the best response.